Welcome back to the channel. Crypto Trend Trader here with the Bitcoin update. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. So here we have Bitcoin on the weekly chart. And as you can see, we just closed out our third consecutive week of downward movement. And we're basically about to get the cross back up, but what I suspect is going to happen is we'll get a situation like this where we get the little cross and then it ends up being a fake out sell like that. It's going to end up being like one of these situations right here. We basically got the green, got the buy signal, got the cross, and then it pops up and then sells straight back off to either retest the low or come back down to a new low. So I would, at this point in time, I would expect we're coming back down to 7,300 just looking at that. As far as the daily, as soon as that closed there, we basically got the indecision doji, and then, immediately started bearish and engulfing. We are in the bullish we're down here in the bullish areas and everything, but, the moving averages are strengthening to the downside. We started getting like a little bit of a pop back there, a level out, and then, we're strengthening back to the downside. So at this point in time, there's no reason to think. And this right here is on the TJD, TD MACD. This is one of the specific things we had talked about we'll come down here often, and when these two lines intersect, you'll see some kind of like pop up off of it or whatever. So we could potentially see a bounce off this area. It is like the support that we've been holding on for, basically the last 4 days here. So, and then kind of switching directions here, and we'll just kind of pull up some of the resistance support. We've basically just been coming down in this channel, and we had tested the breakout once there, tested the top off that bounce in between my last video. But now you'll see what we're doing is we're basing off of this long-term, trend support line that we had. And, we pushed down under it once, and then we got that massive pop back up and retested the top. Couldn't get above this descending triangle trend line here, and now we're basically at that point, and essentially with that close we've broken down out of it. Now there's a lot of ways you could look at this, so we haven't technically like confirmed yet on a daily, but at this point in time anything could happen. If if other people are seeing it the same way, we could all of a sudden get a massive sell-off. But we're basically to the point where we filled out that descending triangle right here, and we hit the support and the resistance multiple times, and we're selling off right now, coming back down to the support again. So what I would expect to happen at this point in time is just find support again and bounce back up, probably top out this time around the 85.50 range. 8400 to 85.50, not really that playable of a range. But if it does end up popping up higher than that, we could get the move up to 9,000. But if it breaks down from this range and we do finally get the break of the pattern in the direction of the trend, which would be, obviously the more reliable break, I could definitely see us coming down here, to that fib circle and the fib retracement of the 786 of this smaller move up. That's a 4.5% move, or coming back down to 76, 75, retesting that descending, resistance that we had been dealing with, and essentially like seeing if we could find it as support there. But at this point in time, I got to just stay bearish until I see something else. According to basically everything, the TJD Jewel did flip over here, but when you're consolidating in a range for a long period of time like this and there's not a ton of movement, you can't trust like the trend following indicators nearly as much, because they are just going to be basically like flipping right back and forth until we do finally get that move. So, but as far as I'm concerned, guys, nothing's changed here. We're still looking for that next move down. So that's it for today. Quick one on Bitcoin, Coinbase, looking at like the daily, weekly, and the 4-hour smaller time frame charts. But as far as we're concerned for now, still looking bearish. If we do flip over to the monthly, though, it potentially looks like we're getting ready to top out here on the monthly. We're losing that slope to the upside. We could still have a little more follow through, and we are still getting the purple. I mean, anything could happen from here. We could essentially, if we could take out one of these highs over here, if we could take one of them out off of that pivot right there, if we could basically come back up and get over 10.6 at this point in time, I think we could get massively bullish on this thing and see continuation. But again, we got a long way before that happens. So, Crypto Trend Trader, Daily Bitcoin TA, signing off.